We don't need any fancy editing. We are going live!
There's not a moment to spare. It's quite a drop from the top. So how you feeling down there? It's a cold, cruel, harsh reality. Caught, stuck here with your enemies. Who do you think you are? Tearing us all apart. Where did you think you could go? 'Cause everyone already knows it's 20 to 1. Yeah, so you better run. You got the world on its knees. You're taking all that you please. You want more, but you get nothing from me. You like the burden we bear. You love the hate that we share. You want more, but you get nothing from me. But enemies.
It is indeed SCP Live, and it is the road to the Royal Rumble, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Nate the Effin' Great, here for the first installment of SCP Live, here building up again, like I said, to the Royal Rumble, but also to the big launch of our new group page for myself, SCP Squirt Circle Productions, along with Max B, Spencer Hart. We will be teaming up with Smart Money Podcast, own AJ and Chris, and we are going to create something memorable, you guys. And it's all going to go down this weekend, but what a Monday Night Raw. Holy mackerel. Let's just talk about it. Let's get right into it, you guys. Kicked off with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, holy cow, came out and he talked about the Universal Championship on Sunday. This drew out Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, who basically talked, and this evolved into a United States Championship matchup being made for later on that night. Roman Reigns getting his rematch against Chris Jericho. Very interesting way to kick off the show, but in all honesty, I think it was very good because it definitely builds up quite a bit going into Sunday. We start with the first matchup being Cesaro with Sheamus in his corner taking on Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson was in his corner. Very good matchup actually to start it off. And they announced that on the pre-show that happens this Sunday, it will be Sheamus and Cesaro taking on the Club. And the thing that's very interesting about this match is that they've actually added another referee. So there are going to be 2 referees in this matchup. It's a very weird situation, I guess you could say. But at the same time, I guess I can kind of understand what they're trying to do, because they know that it's going to be a chaotic and just immense, just crazy night. And the only way that you can really contain it is to have 2 referees. Although what happens when both those referees get knocked out? I don't know. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. But good matchup between Gallows and Cesaro. In the end, because of a distraction by Carl Anderson, Cesaro got beat by Luke Gallows with a reverse fireman's carry into a flapjack. Very good way, like I said, to start off the show. We got 2 separate promos for the Women's Championship matchup on Sunday. Bayley and Charlotte both had sit-down interviews with Corey Graves. Very good, in all honesty. It shows definitely how well Bayley can be a fan favorite. She talks about her time as a fan and how she's going to have, and how her brother and father are going to be watching as she becomes the women's champion on Sunday. But Charlotte basically stated that is not going to happen. She's going to lose to Charlotte, and the winning streak is going to continue. But I think what really stood out with Charlotte's promo was that she mentioned that, she's going to walk into the ring as her music plays. She's going to hand the championship over to the referee, knowing that it's going to get handed back to her after the bell rings again. And that she was going to look down as Bayley just cries. And really just, oh my gosh, it was just really good. And it really shows Charlotte as a major heel. Just really beautifully done. A couple of cruiserweight matches. They had a great 6-man cruiserweight matchup. in which we saw Mustafa Ali, TJ Perkins, and Gentleman Jack Gallagher against Tony Nese, Drew Gallagher, and Arya Daivari. Mustafa Ali actually picked up the victory while pinning Tony Nese with a reverse 450 splash. Anytime I see a move like that, it is just so beautifully done. I love every single thing about that move, and it takes a lot of athleticism to get done. It's just a great move. Loved everything about it. We also got to see Rich Swann take on Noam Dar. Not too much really to say about that matchup, because we see Rich Swann pick up the victory, and then we see a brawl between Neville and Rich Swann building into their Cruiserweight Championship matchup this Sunday at the Royal Rumble. It is going to be just great. Now, this was probably match of the night right here, and for really, really good reasons. The matchup, there was a backstage segment with Sami Zayn and Mick Foley, where Sami Zayn wanted to just put his name right into the Royal Rumble matchup. But Stephanie, who was on the phone, wow, so much power over the phone, she says, well, you can't really just put your name into it like everybody else. You have to be the one who earns it. Wow, way to just keep the consistency going. So she puts him in a matchup with Seth Rollins. Sami Zayn's just like, great, this is going to be awesome. But there was a bit of caveat, and that's what happened when Mick Foley talked to Seth Rollins. He said, hey, you got a match with Sami Zayn. Here's the problem. If you lose your spot in the Rumble. It's one of those things where it's just, I don't understand it. I was not too happy about it, and I was honestly just crossing my fingers majorly thinking, oh man, Seth Rollins, I love you, man, but Sami Zayn needed the victory in a major way, in all honesty, because like I said before, and I'll say it again, I truly believe that Sami Zayn is going to win the Royal Rumble this year. It was his here. Last year, you talk about so many of his matches with Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Braun Strowman. He needed that victory. And that is actually what ended up happening. But there was a bit of controversy in the end because Seth Rollins, he hit a pedigree onto Seth Rollins on the outside apron. It looked like it was going to be a quick pin, but then we hear, Dean, time to play the game. Good old Motorhead playing, in which nothing really happened. Triple H didn't come out. He didn't get involved at all. Seth Rollins reached a point where he's just like, you know what, just fuck it, I don't care. That causes him to go into a small package by Sami Zayn for the 1-2-3. Sami Zayn takes Seth Rollins' spot for the Royal Rumble. And then we see Seth Rollins getting pissed. He leaves the ring. And he goes backstage and he's wondering what's going on. And he talks about a conspiracy against him. Mick Foley says that, hey, I'm going to get down to this. I'm going to figure out, what's going on here. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. But I was very disappointed to see that. Because here's the thing. Taking Seth Rollins out of the matchup really just... it really does kind of tick me off a bit. Because I think it would have been really cool to see Seth Rollins in that matchup. Now, Triple H has found a way to just screw, Seth Rollins out of the Royal Rumble matchup. So unless, maybe they add him to the Universal Championship match or they give him some kind of matchup, I don't like the idea of Seth Rollins not being a part of the Royal Rumble night. I think that, when he was backstage, he said, this was supposed to be, me finding a way to make up for that 1 year, and you felt the passion behind this promo. It was just awesome. The thing was, I was just very, very disheartened to see that because it's like he lost about 4-6 months of his career because of the leg injury, and he missed WrestleMania last year. Now he had the opportunity to get it, and Triple H cost him that. So this is really how you're starting to really keep that rivalry with Triple H and Seth Rollins back in the, white hot fire. So I'm hoping that they build up a little bit more going into Fastlane, and then hopefully they really have the ultimate payoff with Seth Rollins going over at WrestleMania. It's going to be very interesting to see, and I'm going to be very interested in seeing how this all plays out. We get into a bit of an 8-man tag team matchup, which kind of really surprised me. It first started off with the New Day coming out, talking about winning the Royal Rumble and becoming the Universal Champion. But then we get Enzo and Cass coming out, and Enzo does his, my name is Enzo Amore, blah, 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 blah. You know the shtick. Big Cass announces that he is going to be in the Royal Rumble. This draws out Rusev, Jinder Mahal, and Lana. And Rusev announced that he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. Titus O'Neil comes out again. New Day's just at the point where it's like, we've had it with you. We've already beaten you like 3 times. Just leave us alone. And Titus said, well, lucky for you guys, I just got done talking to, Mick Foley or Stephanie or whoever, that there's going to be a 8-man tag match. It's the 4 of you against the 4 of us. And New Day's just like, okay, first of all, there's 5 of us here, and there is 4 of you, but the 4th one is Lana, and we're not denying her that she is fine, but they need to know who's the 4th man, who, and basically how my co-host Max and I were talking throughout the show, and basically how it went down was it was almost like them just going like, who, shit. Because who was the 4th man for their team? Braun Strowman. This was actually a really good matchup by all these guys. I think that, Titus O'Neil doing the Dominator is very interesting to see, but it's also it's new, it's fresh, it's very interesting, it's very good to see. So at least he's changing up his moveset just a little bit. Jinder Mahal looking great as a team with Rusev. Obviously, Rusev's going to be shining out as a star. Well, maybe not. Maybe Jinder Mahal will outshine Rusev. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. But in the end, we see the final 2 being, Enzo and Braun Strowman. And Enzo's trying to be like the tough guy, like, I can take him. Boom, runs into a brick wall. Nothing. And Braun Strowman tries to go for his power slam, but Enzo gets out of it, punches away, blocks Braun Strowman, goes for his second rope DDT, but Braun Strowman counters it, power slam, 1, 2, 3, R.I.P. Enzo. Jeez Louise. Then we get to see the Big Show make his return, who gets announced into the Royal Rumble earlier on in the day. And we see a good confrontation between Big Show and Braun Strowman. Big Show, oh my gosh, he looks very fit, he looks very well. He just does not look at all like the 500-pound person he was back in like 2004. He looks like a completely different person. He doesn't even look like, the guy he was in WCW. He just looks like a 7-foot-tall, almost probably like, I would almost say that he's probably dropped so much weight. He's probably at like 420 pounds now or something like that. He just looks amazing. And somebody actually asked the question, why is Big Show added to the matchup? Isn't he already booked for a match at WrestleMania? It's like, well, they need to find somebody to fill in for the Royal Rumble card. They have all the talent they need, they're just not going to use it. So, Big Show, you can probably guarantee he's not going to win this Sunday, but he's going to have a very dominating presence. I'm very interested to seeing how well he does with him losing so much weight, if he's going to have some new moves, or if he's going to have some different kind of arsenal. Who knows? It's going to be very interesting to see. So Braun Strowman leaves the ring. He says, I'm doing it on my time. I'm not going to do it right now. Then we go on to the United States Championship matchup. Chris Jericho taking on Roman Reigns. Another decent matchup between the two of them. Kevin Owens just, oh my gosh, he literally buries Byron Saxton on commentary. Just basically saying, there's a reason why you're not a wrestler anymore. Oh, you gave up on being a wrestler. Just putting on so many facts on Byron Saxton and just belittling him. It was just wow. I was even thinking like, oh, geez, take it easy. Let Byron at least have something to say. I mean, I'm not really the highest fan on Byron Saxton on commentary, but at the same time, it's like, geez Louise, Kevin Owens, you're just killing this kid. Jeez. Kevin Owens realizes that Chris Jericho was, in trouble, causes Roman Reigns to win via disqualification. Chris Jericho still retains the title. The shark cage gets lowered. Roman Reigns seems like he's going to be going in, but then Kevin Owens gets thrown in, and we see a Superman punch on Jericho as the cage was being lifted up. Then the cage gets lowered back down, and we see here